Greetings, duelists, and welcome to another deck report. This is season 7, week number 4, or it's around to be close to week number 4. And I have a different kind of deck today. What I'm going to profile today is something that I played for the very first time. I had no prior testing with this strategy outside of just theory. And yeah, this was a lot of fun yesterday. So I thought about playing Malice at locals. And thank God I did not do that, because I actually had players that were citing Artifact Lancia. Charles to Glenn. I chose to play something different at last minute, and I actually do not regret this choice. My standing in locals was X2, and those 2 losses were solely due to my misplay with the deck. I actually could have won those matches if I would have understood my deck better. I misplayed against Vanquished Soul on game 3. And once I show you the deck, I'll explain my misplay. And my other misplay was against Lunalight on game 3 as well. Actually, no, I lost 2-0 to Lunalight, and I'll also explain that loss during the deck report as well. But without further ado, let's begin. So the deck I'm profiling for this weekend is Magnet Warrior. This deck did become a budget deck thanks to Maze of Muertos. And I think out of the rogue decks that we have, like in this current format, this is a very, very, very good one. Like, this deck is really good going first or second. This deck is a very heavy monster deck. You will see, like with the spell and traps, it can play good amount of non-engine. It can play very specific non-engine as well. For example, Dominus Purge, which is pretty cool. And I have a tech in the deck. I kind of want to call it a tech because I haven't seen other Magnet players do it. And that tech is actually really good in the current format. Yeah, without further ado, let's go through the list. So, 3 beta, 3 sigma minus, 1 sigma plus, 1 epsilon, 1 Thelusion, 3 linear magnum. So if you've already seen Magnet profiles in the past, these numbers should not be obscure to you. Linear Magnum is the best one in the deck. It's basically double circular. That doesn't even start a chain for summon. Like, that's already ridiculous. Beta, I didn't think Beta was that important in the deck until I played it. I think Beta is fine. I like the fact that Beta is in this deck because it just means more starters, which is another really strong thing that the deck has for it. It has a ridiculous amount of starters, and so these starters are also extenders. Sigma minus is a pseudo starter. You need it alongside any any rock, which is not really that hard in this deck. You will see why. But yeah, I kind of welcome this one. And you got Epsilon. This is a reborn, if you already know. I won't lie to you, I actually think about bumping this card up to 2. And the reason is not because it's a pseudo starter. I think the number one reason I want to play multiple Epsilons is because I've opened Epsilon a bunch of times. And I lost one game. I won the match, but I lost one game to Yummy because I kind of wanted to be greedy with Plasma Magnum's effect on summoning extra magnets from my hand. but my Yomi opponent just didn't allow me to do it. I didn't get to go that far. The effect of Sigma minus to dump a Magna Warrior does come up. It came up in a bunch of games. One of my losses was to Vanquish Soul, like I mentioned earlier. And one of the reasons I lost against Vanquish Soul, and if you're watching this and it's your first time playing Magnet Warrior, don't do what I did. I cited out Illusion. And me citing out Illusion was a very foolish mistake. This card outright should have won me my Vanquish Soul match. But I didn't have it in my deck. And because I didn't have it in my deck, a lot of my plays became weaker. And a lot of counter plays that I had against my opponent were also weak. This card is really good against that matchup because that deck has two important Earth-type monsters. And this card can check both of them. Like, if your opponent out there is Holly Sue or Caesar, you can target one of them and just take it onto your side of the field. And just taking Caesar and just threatening your opponent with Caesar is already good enough in that strategy against that strategy. But yeah, that was one of my mistakes against that deck. I also misplayed against them. We'll get to that when we talk about the side deck. But yeah, don't side out Illusion. You will regret it. I will definitely play a second Epsilon. All the other ratios I think are perfectly fine. So for the other cards, we got 3 researchers. A lot of people just play 1. Some people play 2. I kind of wanted the extra extender because there are situations where you are going second with your engine, and I don't think this engine is bad going second. Like opening Sigma minus to just threaten a fusion summon on your opponent's turn, like, is really good. Linear Magnum, just sending like 2 magnets and just like applying pressure on your opponent is also good. And if they stick on the board, that means you can special summon the Researcher, and Researcher can just try to do like other stuff on her own as well. So I don't regret the 3 Researchers. I think this will probably stay in the future. Another card I played that is very odd and not many Magnet players are doing is I played 3 Koa'ki Meiru Guardian and 2 like 2 of the Provision. I forgot the English name. So the main purpose behind these cards was to chain block against certain cards. Like, for example, if my opponent had Ash Blossom and I start with, like, for example, like Sigma minus, I could like Sigma minus something on the board, summon the Plasma, and then chain block Plasma with the Provider. It also works on other game states. That being said, I did brick on this card, and in this deck, bricking on this card is not a big deal if you see other rocks. I opened no other rocks, so this was a hard brick in my deck. I probably would take out this Koa'ki Meiru in the future. I would keep Koa'ki Meiru Guardian though. I actually did like Koa'ki Meiru Guardian in testing. This card was very phenomenal. I actually do encourage other Magnet Warrior players to actually try out this card. This deck has a lot of starters that don't require your normal summon. And the fact that you can reborn this with Flux Ocean Field and another card in my extra deck is also a lot of pressure. This is also really strong against Vanquish Soul and Draco Tail, which is very important because those are 2 very key matchups this format. But yeah, that's it from that. I played 3 Dualterion. I think this comes with no explanation. This is a staple in the Magnet deck. And the last non-hand trap is the one Engraver. A lot of people are playing a bigger Fiendsmith package. I just felt like I wanted more non-engine. And I also compensating the Fiendsmith ratios with the multiple researchers and the multiple Koa'ki Meirus, which just naturally fit into this deck a lot more because it means more monsters to fuse with Sigma minus. Yeah, I don't regret this choice. I did sadly drew the Engraver like once or twice, but it wasn't really a big deal. Outside of that, I think everything in this lineup was perfectly okay. So for other monsters, we got the hand traps. We got 3 Fua, 3 Ash, 2 Droll, 2 Nibiru, and we might as well talk about it. We playing 3 Dominus Purge. So these were my hand traps. Out of monsters, you will probably notice the last card in my deck is Magnet Bonding. We have 34 monsters in this deck, which is a very hefty amount. But out of all the 34 monsters, the grand majority are rocks and or earths. So during the weekend, or during this week, the weakest card in my deck was Droll and Lockbird. In the future, I will move this to the side deck. I think the card I would want to play is Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. And the reason I want to play Ghost Bell in this deck is because it is an Earth monster. So it does not conflict with Dominus Purge, but also it is a fusion material for Flux Auction Field. Which we're talking a lot about the card. The card is in the extra deck. You'll see what I mean by that. I did drew it in against key matchups, against, like for example Luna Light and Vanquish Soul, but both times I drew it, my opponent already had the right cards to play around it, which was very unfortunate. Yeah, this card was very weak in the main. I actually bricked on this card on one game as well, so in the future I would move this to the side deck. So far, these are the 4 cards I will cut from the list. Everything else in the main deck, I think, worked perfectly fine. I did not get to resolve Dominus Purge a lot, but it did come in clutch the times I did see it. And I don't think I missed any other spell, at least in the main deck. Magnet Bonding was just perfectly fine for me. Side deck, we had 3 Perulia, 3 Red Seas, 3 Droplet, 3 Mistaken Arrest, 3 Evenly Mashed. I never boarded in Evenly Mashed. I didn't think this card was needed at all. This can be any other breaker. So yeah, maybe Lightning Storm, maybe Feather Duster, maybe something else. I don't recommend Double Cyclone because we don't have that many spell cards, as many spell and traps to begin with. But yeah, my theory behind Mistaken Arrest is after I make a board, just stop my opponent entirely. It did backfire on me because I did drew Dualterion after resolving this card. And I was already breaking against my opponent. So I don't know, maybe this will also get cut. Droplets was fine. I think Droplets should be in your deck, at least in the main or side deck, especially since we're in Draco Tail format. Same thing as Retaliating Sea, like Draco Tail format, you have to play it. And I actually did like Perulia a lot. I won against Try-Yummy, and I almost won against Vanquish Soul because of this card. Yeah, not much else to say about this card. So I would say half the side deck was so fine. Everything else was, yeah. That's it from my side deck, at least in testing, or at least like as far as my first tournament with the deck went. Extra deck, there are some cards I would change here as well, and there are some cards that people are not conventionally playing, which I also want to explain. So you got the Feast with Requiem because we're playing the Engraver. The bridge is Exiton Knight, which is not really that hard to summon in this deck. Alongside it, you have the Necro Quip, and you have the DDD Wave Hiking Caesar. I don't regret playing the Small Fiendsmith package. I think this was perfectly fine. I did, against one match against Yummy, I did exit on their entire board, and then turned the Exiton into Caesar after. And I also did the same thing against a Memento player. Shout outs to Unknown 12. Yeah, nothing to say about this package. I played Cross Sheep, I played IP, I played SP. These did not come up. The Cross Sheep did come up. I will talk about it. I played Nightmare Phoenix and Abawaku. I don't think these cards are needed in the deck at all. I already know what the replacements for these are probably gonna be. That's it for Link monsters. We played Naturia Beast. I did summon this twice, and both times I summoned it, it did win me the game. I think this is like the big gimmick behind this deck. I don't think this is the strongest card in our deck. There are better cards besides that. But one thing I really like is when you have this paired with Meiru Guardian. Like, this is really strong against a lot of boards. Like, your opponent has to have specific non-engine for this. Like, if they don't have Droplet, like, this is already strong enough. And that's where the Cross Sheep comes in. The reason I like Cross Sheep in this deck is because, first, it is an Earth attribute monster, so you can fuse it away for Ocean Field. But more importantly, when you summon Ocean Field on your opponent's turn, you can use Cross Sheep's effect to reborn Meiru Guardian. And these are all Earths, so you can even use you have 3 viable targets for Ocean Field's effect, while also have the negation from this, the negation from this, and the recursion from this. So that was like my theory behind it. I did resolve it once against my Yummy opponent, and it actually worked out. So that was the logic behind that. Yeah. Let's talk about Flux Ocean Field. This is by far the best card in the deck, in my opinion. This is a TCG exclusive that we got from Burst Protocol, and like, that card is phenomenal. Like, all of its effects are good. Like, I am even hard-pressed. I'm hard-pressed to play multiples of this card. Plasma minus, I don't think is needed at multiples. I've seen people play multiples of this. The Earth Floodgate effect can come up, but I can definitely say Flux Ocean Field is a start of the show. This card was really, really good for me. Like, it threatened a lot of boards, it helped break boards as well. It was very flexible in how I summoned it because of how many Earth monsters I'm playing. Yeah, I definitely don't regret it. I played 1-1 because Magnet Bonding can return them to the extra, but in the future I definitely would play a second Ocean Field. It did come up. So for the rest of the XYZs, you got Gallant Granite, which is kind of obvious. I did play Baguska, which is something not common in Magnet lists. This is one of the half boards that you make against Charmies, and I actually won every game I summoned it. There's a reason this card is banned in Master Duel and OCG. This card is really good in this deck, especially since after the Baguska is exhausted, you can just like summon Ocean Field, and if they end up negating the Baguska, you can Ocean Field to just bounce back the Baguska. That did come up once. And the last card is Typhon. Shout out to Jeremy for hooking me up with the OT one from OTS 30. It is kind of misprinted, the lopsided, but hey, it's kind of cool. So yeah, that is the deck. Like, it was a lot of fun playing this deck this weekend. We don't have a lot of events, like at least in YCS level. We do have an OTS tournament next weekend, and which I already have my invite for Nats, but I still want to play. And we also have a 3v3 tournament over here where I'm at. And for me, this is just gonna be an experimental format until Blazing Dominion. But that doesn't mean I don't have a lot of pet decks that I kind of want to have fun with. And this is definitely one I would recommend people if you're looking for something to play in this format. The best thing about this deck is it's entirely budget. Like, this just got reprinted in Maze. Beta also got reprinted. Researcher also got reprinted. Like, pretty much everything in this main deck is affordable. I think the most expensive card in this deck is Fualos, which doesn't say much. But yeah, that's it from me. Keep practicing and keep dueling.